Theresa May is going to be going to her cabinet to try and get approval on this text. What's at stake for her here?
Good morning, Belle. Well, the stakes are incredibly high for Theresa May. If you think about what she's been doing so far, it's been bilateral. It's just her versus the EU 27, a very unified group in a game of chess. But it's all about to get more complicated than that, because the Prime Minister pulled in all of her cabinet ministers one by one last night to show them the relevant sections of the deal to their briefs. She didn't want to be ganged up on and drowned out in a full meeting of the cabinet. She wanted to take them all through it one by one, explain the significance and the problems if they vote against it. They will all come back here tonight, later on this afternoon at 2 p.m, having slept on it, thought about it, and they will then get to decide whether they back the deal or not in cabinet. Now, the ones to watch out for, Esther McVey and Penny Mordaunt. They are two of the more junior members in the cabinet. They are the Work and Pension Secretary and the Development Secretary, respectively. They are quite firm leaders, and for Esther McVey, she has ran into problems in her department with a domestic policy called universal credit. So this might be an opportunity for her to jump ship. But that would be survivable for the Prime Minister. It would be more troubling if someone like Liam Fox or Michael Gove, more senior members of the cabinet, decided to resign. At the moment, it seems Liam Fox is happy, but there are those around Michael Gove saying that is less secure for him. So Theresa May has a battle first this afternoon to get her own cabinet to agree to the plan.
And Vinny, even if she does get that proposal through cabinet, she's still then got to contend with Parliament, hasn't she?
That's right. This is then where the game moves into a bit of a Rubik's Cube. Every time the Prime Minister makes a move, the sides on either side of it seem to get out of alignment, and it's harder to solve. Because on her own side, you've got the arch Brexiteers. We heard from some of them in that report, like Jacob Rees-Mogg and Boris Johnson, saying it's a vassal state, they're going to vote it down, and they may number as many as 50 people. But you then have the strong Remainers in Theresa May's party, the likes of Nicky Morgan, the former Education Secretary, who are very unhappy with how things have been going. And another one, the former Attorney General Dominic Grieve, saying that he still believes that there needs to be a second referendum. Here's what he had to say.
Unless the Prime Minister were to bring the deal back and say voluntarily and of her own accord, here is a deal, but I realise it needs to be balanced against other things, and I would like to put it to the British people, in which case I shall support her completely. I'm afraid that the only way we're going to get to the outcome I think is the better one is by rejecting this deal.
So that's just Theresa May's own party, who are deeply split and unhappy with everything that's happened. Then she was meant to have the support of Northern Ireland's DUP party to give her the necessary majority to get this through the Commons. They are unhappy with how Northern Ireland has been treated, this whole issue of the backstop. That's just all the people meant to be supporting Theresa May. When you then cross to the opposition benches, Labour now seem determined to vote against her deal. They want to try to trigger a second referendum, or more preferably for Jeremy Corbyn, a new general election. Even the people that seem to be Brexiteers in that party, like Kate Hoey, now saying they will vote down the deal. And then you've got the Liberal Democrats, the SNP and smaller parties all saying they'll vote it down. So it is really far from clear how Theresa May can get the deal through the House of Commons.
And Vincent, let's turn our attention to the actual text of this draft agreement. Of course, it hasn't been released. We've had leaks. We've heard a few headlines. Can you tell us any more about what's actually inside that document?
Well, Theresa May is going to be very cross at the leaks that have come out. She actually lectured the Cabinet yesterday in the Cabinet meeting about the level of leaking going on. So it seems these have come from Brussels overnight. And Theresa May seems to have got a concession from the EU. There isn't the backstop to the backstop. So that is a border in the Irish Sea in the event of the transition period not producing a full deal. What will happen instead, though, is that Northern Ireland will stay in a sort of closer alignment with the Republic of Ireland than the rest of the EU. That is going to obviously upset the DUP, who have said throughout that Northern Ireland, the province, has to be kept in the exact same arrangement as the rest of the UK. They don't want any differentiation because they're worried about a united Ireland once again. So that is something that's come out overnight. There'll also be more of a fair playing field, something the Prime Minister's agreed to, that there will be sort of alignment on workers' rights, on things like state aid, on environmental rights, and that is something that the Brexiteers are going to latch onto and say is capitulation to the EU, lets them make the decisions, and will hamper us making new free trade deals. So whilst you may think it was time for Theresa May to celebrate last night on finally getting this agreement, I don't think there was any bubbly being popped in this place back here, because